So I am Mark Wixon. I'm the Commissioner for the Bureau of Information and Technology and the CIO for the state of South Dakota government. I was basically born and raised in South Dakota, and I've got more than 30 years of IT leadership experience. Most of those years in the private sector. However, I came back to public service 2 years ago with a goal to help the state modernize how we serve South Dakotans in a secure, efficient, and responsible manner.
Thank you so much. What you're doing in your modernization efforts are so important. And I think that your balance between public and private sector work is really going to serve the state well. So thank you for your service. Can you tell us, are there any insights you might have about the upcoming event?
Well, I'd say that, what I'm excited about is, the event really brings a host of different groups together, government leaders, technology professionals, even public sector partners that allow us to collaborate about the future of digital services within the state. So having representation from not just only the agencies within the state, but also counties, cities, tribal and education professionals, really kind of helps build that digital focus on the future. Some of the timely topics I would say that we're going to cover will be, of course, generative AI is going to be a major part of it, as it is for most organizations these days. As you mentioned, IT modernization, looking at IT modernization from a resilience perspective also. And the idea being that we're able to also include in this session how we empower teams, serve citizens, and really maximize tax dollars with cybersecurity woven through every session as it should be. So really, the summit is where South Dakota secure innovation that is intended to reach our citizens.
Can you add a little bit more to your perspective about why you think there's a need to bring state and local IT leaders together and talk a little bit more about that collaboration that you just touched on?
Sure. Well, whether we're talking about, a state agency or, a county, a city, the tribal organizations or educational organizations within the state, a lot of these IT leaders are facing similar challenges. And so with that, how do we network? How do we learn from each other in really a shared forum that lets us kind of learn together, learn quickly, and also some opportunities how we can move forward together. So in many ways, the lessons learned that the state may have had in an area can benefit a county. What we're doing for some of our agencies could be mirrored in some of the other government organizations in the state, because many of us are going to be leveraging a lot of the emerging tools, like, as I mentioned, generative AI, with the intent to offer real efficiency gains and modernization on how government works. And that's the big focus, modernizing how government works. But IT leaders in these capacities, they need the knowledge, they need the confidence, and they need some collaboration on how to modernize responsibly and effectively. And so that's really, as I see it, the summit directly supports our 2026 focus areas, as I mentioned, and as I just kind of lightly touched on. And along with some other, pieces of interest or points of interest, data management and analytics, resilience of our technology and the services that are dependent on it to the citizens. So I would say the idea is bringing these groups together to accelerate responsible innovation and really kind of drive to some of those positive results. And we've been, driving this, I would say, over the last couple of years around modernization, data, just really kind of bringing some of the technologies to better serve the agencies. And hence why, we see AI, cybersecurity, data governance all being key components of that, driving to something that's also resilient for the citizens.
Can you tell us, I know you have an incredible team, Mark, can you tell us a little bit about your team? It helps, as you know, from being in the in the private sector yourself, it helps our industry partners to understand the importance of different roles inside their
Sure.
team.
Sure. Yeah, that diversity is important. Our senior leadership team, we have basically 7 divisions within our Bureau of Information Technology, and it's intentionally cross-functional. That way we can leverage on some of the core focus and expertise in areas that then creates the platforms or creates the solutions that the agencies and the citizens rely on. Um, that really also brings a lot of that diverse expertise to help us solve problems faster. It helps to drive innovation and how we look at how do we operate more effectively. And the divisions, of course, are focused on how BIT enables the agencies to deliver what their mission is to the needs of the state. So really, I would say, on my team, meeting the leaders who turn strategy into delivered outcomes is really one of the, I think, the value adds to the conference, where the senior leadership team will be available to be able to connect and share experiences, not just within the summit, but also afterwards.
And are there members of your team that you would specifically like to talk about who are leading key initiatives that we should advise our industry partners about?
I think there'd be interest really from each of them. Our Chief Information Security Officer on our cybersecurity, how do you approach a cybersecurity program? Our director who's over, our platforms and infrastructure. How are we leveraging on-site compute as well as cloud? Our director over our technology operations and communications. How are we supporting users on the day-to-day basis, and how's the communications working across? We also have a director who's over enterprise solutions and innovation, where we are really using that as our CTO as the starting point for a lot of innovative transformation type of initiatives like generative AI, like data management and analytics, where we start there and then it expands. As well as, we have a whole group of directors related to the various agencies and the applications and the needs those agencies have. And so it really runs the full gamut depending on what an attendee's, areas of interest are. And those key leaders will be at the summit. And I think that's where if interacting with me, I can really drive into a lot of strategy, and I can weigh into some of those areas. But that's where I think it's important to connect with the leaders that will be attending to really take it to that next level. I do think that this is the most effective way to connect with people that are driving the technology changes in the state. And that's going to lead to decisions across both state and local government. So getting involved, attending, sponsoring, it really joins our partners in the conversation. It helps them really understand real public sector needs, co-designing solutions that basically help make a meaningful impact for the state. I would, even encourage, this isn't just to demo, but it's really to help innovate, modernize, and solve real problems. And from my perspective, it starts with the relationships. It starts with getting to meet and understanding what the needs are, and then how they could perhaps help achieve the outcomes that the agencies or the other government entities are really trying to strive towards.
And one more question. What key takeaways do you hope that attendees will get from this event?
I would say I would like to see them understand or get a clear picture of where South Dakota tech is headed. I would say especially around key themes that I've mentioned, the AI, cybersecurity, resilient modernization. It's because a lot of that's going to define the next decade. And with that, the energy and confidence to apply these tools in service to citizens. and the understanding that no one is facing these challenges alone. So from a, state and local government perspective, how to network and solve problems together and learn from each other, from the partners, how they could help solve some of the problems, the challenges, and do it in a fiscally responsible manner for the state. And so, as I would say, what I would want to see is they leave informed, I would say aligned, energized, and really ready to deliver future capabilities. It's an opportunity to get away from the busyness of the day-to-day, think strategically, and then make connections. Because then when everybody goes back to their weekly jobs, they're leaving with connections, they're leaving with ideas, and it's something they could continue to work with long after the conference or the summit.
Absolutely. Well, I really appreciate your perspective. In closing, is there anything else you'd like to add that we haven't covered?
I guess in the closing, I would just say with the summit regards, South Dakota is aligning leaders across jurisdictions, really intended to deliver secure, modern services. And we're really driving towards doing this in a pragmatic approach, whether it's AI, being relentless about cybersecurity, focused on our positive outcomes for our citizens is the heart of what we're doing. And having partners who share that mission will find the summit the best place to listen and learn and build that with us. So I appreciate the opportunity to be able to talk about the summit, be able to have South Dakota, the capital, host it. And I really look forward to meeting a lot of the people at the summit itself.
Well, thank you so much. I look forward to coming back to South Dakota very soon.